What's good, yo? Welcome to my review for Fighting with My Family. Just got back from the theater. Overall, I love this movie. Now, you guys know that I'm a massive WWE fan, and of course, Paige is one of my favorite wrestlers, female wrestlers more specifically, of all time. Like, my top three are AJ Lee, Paige, and Sasha Banks. Those are my top three. So, of course, I was excited when this movie got announced. That, oh, cool, there's going to be a movie on Paige's life. And overall, I love the movie. Like, this was really damn good. And now, it's also kind of interesting because I've also seen the documentary that was also done on Paige's life that came out years ago when Paige, back when I forget when it was released, and I forget what it was called, but you can find it on YouTube. Now, it's not that hard to find. Which was like her, like the whole period when she was still in Norwich and she was trying to get into WWE, and when she gets signed into her first match at Florida Championship Wrestling, which was WWE's developmental back in the day before they swapped over to NXT in Orlando, which of course the movie does. So anyway, so let's get into this movie. So the movie is directed. It's directed by Stephanie Merchant. Merchant, I believe is his name. He also writes the movie as well, and of course stars The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Who this is probably one of his best performances because The Rock is literally just playing himself. Like people say that how Dwayne in a lot of ways just plays himself. This is literally him playing himself, and he does such a great job doing it. Stephen Merchant is huge. Florence Punge as Paige, Zelina Vega as AJ Lee, Nick Frost as Patrick, and many more. And the plot of Fight With My Family is, of course, the story of Paige when how she first got into wrestling, her time or a little time when she was doing with her family, to when she gets signed over to the WWE, a little bit of her time in NXT, ending off when she wins the Divas Championship at WrestleMania 30. You might say it's a match spoiler. To that I say, you are wrong because most spoiler watch movies are indeed wrestling fans, and it's all over in the trailers. So, yeah, if you know nothing about Paige's life, I'm going to keep it spoiler-free. I'm not going to talk about, like, everything, but when it comes to the major events, like, you know, her win the Divas Championship, yeah, y'all know this already. I mean, if you're watching this video, you're most likely a wrestling fan. So, if you're watching mine, so. Yeah, so let's get with the positives. So the positives is the cast. This is without doubt one of the funniest movies ever. Like, Florence does an excellent job playing Paige. She does a great job now. Of course, that was the one I was kind of interested in, like, how she played Paige. And there's actually this funny interview I saw on Instagram where Florence says, you know, oh, you look at Paige and there's so much on her, and you see Paige who's sitting, like, right next to her, and you see her kind of cringe, like, ooh, because, of course, you know, the sex tapes leaks. I thought that was kind of funny. There's no mention of the sex tapes in this movie, if you're wondering, you sick bastards. There's nothing. So, if y'all were spending something like that, then there's something wrong with you. Anyway, the cast was great. The Rock, like I said, did a great job. Florence was great as Paige. Zelina Vega was great as AJ Lee, surprisingly. She was actually really good. I'll talk a little bit more about Zelina a little bit later, but without it, one of the highlights of the movie was definitely Nick Frost as Paige's father. My God, this man was hilarious. Like, this movie was fucking hilarious. Like, the dialogue is so great, and also Vince Vaughn. Which when I first saw Vince Vaughn, I was like, really, Vince Vaughn? But then when you see him in the movie, he's amazing. I loved Vince Vaughn in the movie. He was great. His dialogue was great. The comedy was great. It was fantastic. It was a fantastic across the board. The movie was amazing. Another thing I love about the movie was, without a doubt, I like how this movie did not sugarcoat WWE. Like, they straight up mentioned, yes, for a while, when we got our female wrestlers, they were literally just models that can't tell the difference between a wrist lock and a wrist watch. Like, throughout the beginning part of the movie, when she first comes over to NXT, she's dealing with this one. She gets over there and she has these blonde bimbos in the same hotel she's at, or apartment complex, the pool, and one of them says, "Oh my God, you sound like a Noxie. I love your accent. Here, say something." And she's literally saying this article about people dying. It's the funniest shit ever. And there's, of course, a lot of other great jokes that I refuse to spoil, and of course, and like I said, I did like how they did, because, like, when she's in NXT, she's like training against, I think, Summer Rae. Now, one thing I found weird about this movie is that they never use legit wrestlers' names for the ones that they're in NXT, but judging from their attire, for us WWE guys, we can probably guess who they are. I think these three were Summer Rae, Eve Torres, and I think Charlotte. I could be wrong on that third one, but I'm pretty sure because I recognize Eve's outfit. I was like, okay, that's Eve, and I know Summer Rae, so that was Summer Rae. But I think Charlotte was the last one. I could be wrong on that one though. And of course, so she's like, so as I was saying, so she's in the ring, training with them, and she's like, has her locked up behind her, and she's like elbowing her, but I think it was Summer Rae keeps elbowing Paige legit hits her in the nose, and she hits her with the receipt, which I actually didn't know what the receipt was. So I also learned some new wrestling terminology. Which a receipt is when you give it to someone who has botched the move. You give them a receipt, which is just you come back at them and hit them with another attack that actually hurts, like you legit punch them or slap them or something after they botch a move. Which and then Vince Fox is like, we do not do receipts here. Gee, I wonder why. No wonder the Divas division was shit. because there's no reason for you guys not to stop botching with it. And then like, hey, you can fuck up you can like paralyze them or something. And so I like that little part where they just shows like, hey, yeah, WWE used to hire nothing but blonde bitches that can't tell the difference between a wrist lock and a wrist watch. I mean, granted, they're still doing that. I mean, just look at Carmella and the Iconics. And Alexa Bliss. You cannot forget about Alexa Bliss. So, yeah. I also love the dynamic between Paige and her brother. Because now, I knew a little bit about their relationship and kind of what went down between those two from the documentary. But this goes in a lot more depth with it, and I really dug that little dynamic there. There was also this other scene, which I won't spoil, where Paige, she's in NXT, and of course, there's this one scene, I'm trying not to say, but I think I'm just going to be as vague as possible instead of trying to like work around it, but where Paige, she's like, where this scene that was like very disheartening to me because I love Paige and I know how she is, just because of course I've also seen her in Total Divas a couple times, so it's kind of hard when I see her in this scene where later on in the movie when she's in NXT. If you guys seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that was so shocking to watch because that does not seem like Paige to me, but at the same time this is a different Paige than the Paige I know, because it's when she was like right there in NXT, she had no friends, she was lonely, and it was definitely interesting to see that side of Paige, which was definitely very interesting. So that's what I'm gonna end on that because I don't want to spoil that scene because that scene was that whole section was pretty good. And Zelina Vega as AJ Lee, she did a great job. Like when they do the Raw after WrestleMania 30, which actually when they're actually at WrestleMania 30, when we get a scene where The Rock talks to Paige's dad, when she leaves the room, you could hear Daniel Bryan's entrance music in the background, which of course, at WrestleMania 30, D. Bryan won the WWE Championship and probably one of the best matches I've ever seen, and one of the greatest WrestleMania moments. Hell, it's probably my favorite WrestleMania moment of all time, honestly. And I couldn't help when that started playing. I couldn't help but start doing the yes chant a little bit, like. Because I just felt like it just brought back the memories of when I first saw that back in 2014. But back to Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega does a great job. Like I'm pretty sure they didn't like dub Zelina Vega's audio over with AJ Lee's audio. I think that was Zelina Vega, although her voice here sounded a little bit like AJ Lee. So I don't know if they actually dubbed it over with the audio from that actual Monday Night Raw, or Zelina Vega, or that's just Zelina Vega's natural voice when she isn't working with Andrade Cien Almas. But that was great. Like her mannerisms and just it was almost like 1-to-1 how because she was very much like AJ Lee. She acted like that, exactly like her, same stance and everything. Like it was almost like 1-to-1 almost, which I like that little attention to detail they did, and I liked how Zelina Vega did it. And I would definitely say Zelina Vega did a great job portraying AJ Lee. Even AJ herself said on Twitter that she quoted like a tweet Zelina made, and she was like, "Yo, you'll do a great job playing me," and she did. Like, she nailed how AJ Lee was on that Monday Night Raw, down to a T, and it was almost 1-to-1. It was really damn good. If you guys see the movie, you guys definitely know. Now, Now that's about all I have to say about this movie. Positively, I love the relationship with her family. The movie was fucking funny as hell. Florence does a great job playing Paige, but I do have some problems with this movie. Not so much with the movie itself. Like, I mean, there were some characters and probably some stuff I would have liked to see more. Like, we spent more time in NXT. Like, we actually saw some of her storylines she was in. Maybe get to see her time, maybe some conversations she had with Triple H, maybe. Because, of course, as we know, Triple H runs NXT. And the fact that he was nowhere to be seen was kind of weird. Since he runs NXT. But all really my big flaws I have with this movie, other than that, are from all the inaccuracies and inaccuracies and just overall lack of attention to detail I noticed this movie. Now, of course, since I'm a wrestling fan, I know Paige. I was watching Raw on that Monday. I was watching Raw that same day, right after WrestleMania, when she won the Divas title, and there was a couple other stuff I noticed that were wrong, that as a wrestling fan kind of irked me, and just overall the lack of attention to detail. So, allow me to bitch and complain for a bit, guys, so please indulge me. So, first off, the logos and the arenas. They are completely wrong, because, keep in mind, when this happened, when Paige was right there at that SmackDown, it was like 2009, yet here they are, they're using the modern day SmackDown and Raw logos and like arenas. Now, I get why they kept the arenas, because it would have taken so much time to rebuild them just like how they were back in 2016 and 2009. But at the same time, could you at least have changed the logos on the Titantrons to match it? Like, come on! Like, I'm watching, I'm like, that's the modern stuff. Like, now that one ain't too bad for me. I get why, and also, you see all like the WWE logo and all the stuff. They use the Today logo, the modern logo, not the original logo that was there for the longest time. When Paige actually did come to NXT and WWE back then, they still use a modern logo. Now that small stuff, and of course, Paige and AJ Lee's outfits are completely wrong. I mean, Paige is a little bit closer when she made her debut at Raw, but AJ, dear God, was it really that hard for you guys to find her outfit somewhere on eBay, or maybe just ask AJ Lee to loan you it? Like she's wearing the completely wrong outfit. She's not, because as you guys remember, AJ Lee would come out in her t-shirt, booty shorts, knee-high socks and shoes, and a knee-high shoe and long shoes. She's coming out here in your usual outfit with a robe, and I'm like, no, that's wrong. That's completely wrong. AJ doesn't wear that. I'm like, no, that's small stuff, but there is major stuff that kind of really irked me. Now I get why they did this, hiding the drama. But to hide the drama and add a little bit more suspense to it, and just kind of really get that feel-good aspect of the movie. But at the same time, there were so many. These were such big, plot holes or logic gaps. Especially if you know especially if you know a little bit about what actually happened with Paige around her time in WWE and NXT. That it just kind of makes you scratch your head. And this is kind of spoilery, but not major spoiler, so a little bit of a warning. So first off, the whole thing where when she makes her, first off, they do not show us any real aspects of when she was actually in NXT. They make it seem like it's just an episode of Tough Enough. Essentially, we see her at the PC training, but we also one thing I had there's this one episode or one part of the movie where Paige is doing this little promo thing, this little promo contest, and she's with her with those three other blondes, and and one of the crowd was like, "Oh, look at that! It's AJ! It's three wives and their grandma." And the overall way the crowd was nothing like an NXT crowd. I'm sorry, what NXT crowd actually correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been watching NXT recently. NXT crowds aren't like this at Full Sail. What NXT crowds are like this? I mean, I know there's those idiots that are disrespectful and say stupid shit, but at the same time, come on, NXT crowds aren't like this. And and don't even get me started on the commentary when Paige made her debut on Raw. It was so forced. Michael Cole's commentary and the crowd reactions was so force just, it really took me out of the experience, because crowds aren't like this, and I felt like I was watching, like, WWE 2K19 My Career cutscenes or something. Like, it was that forced. The crowd reactions were not genuine. You could tell they were shoved in there, like, it was like, Kevin Dunn was running there. You know, like, ugh. The crowd reactions were just, ugh. That really took me out of the experience, and just, my God, the forced commentary from Michael Cole. Dear God. But the biggest one, and also when she wins the title, she does this whole promo and everything, which is completely wrong to what actually happened there, because if you guys were watching Monday Night Raw that day, when she won the Divas title, she immediately just left the ring while AJ was screaming and, you know, throwing a tantrum with Tamina, which, by the way, Tamina's nowhere in this movie at all, even though she was with AJ during the time when she was Divas champion. So that's another lack of attention to detail I noticed there. And she does this whole promo about what she never did, because as soon as she won the title, she left the ring, and she was still shocked about how she won the title, but there was no promo, nothing. And one of the biggest things right now, this was the biggest one for me, because it's just because this whole scene kind of crumbles immediately if you know what actually happened with Paige during NXT and what Paige was doing right as she made her debut on that Monday Night Raw, is that right on that Monday Night Raw, she's scared, she's nervous, like, oh my God, am I going to get over with the crowd, and all this and that, and she's talking with her brother, and her brother trying to help her out, but this all breaks apart because, as you guys may have known, she was NXT Women's Champion at this time, so why is she worrying about getting over the crowd when because she was NXT Women's Champion, you were already over with the crowd, and yet here she is worried about getting over the crowd. This is her first time wrestling when she was NXT Women's Champion at this exact same time, plus it's just a crowd right after WrestleMania, which the Raw after Mania crowd is one of the best crowds ever for the debut NXT guys, because it's nothing but a bunch of hardcores who also watch NXT. So she wouldn't even need to worry about going over with the crowd, because it's not like we're in Lafayette, Louisiana, like when Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Velveteen Dream, Ricochet and Aleister Black debuted. They were up there with Lafayette, Louisiana, just to drown because Vince McMahon wanted to prove Triple H, like, oh look, your guy can't do shit, never challenge me ever. Like, you know, that stupid shit. Like, she's here, and yet she's worried about getting over when she was already well over with the crowd by this point, because, like I said, she was NXT Women's Champion at this time, and this is the Raw after Mania, which is nothing but a bunch of hardcores who watch NXT. Like, I get this is a movie, and I get they gotta maybe change some stuff, and, you know, maybe add some extra drama to, like, you know, add to the movie, but at the same time, come on! Like, don't treat us wrestling fans like idiots. Like having all these logic gaps and just inconsistencies and lack of attention to detail to what actually happened. It's just like, why wasn't there any time where we actually saw her in NXT, like, actually wrestling, her feuds? Like, there was no mention of the Four Horsewomen at all in the movie. We never see Triple H anywhere. We don't see her talking with Triple H. We don't see how, like, we see some of the more inner workings of NXT back at Full Sail. Nothing. It's just, like, they treat, like, the whole section of when she's in NXT might as well just been an episode of Tough Enough. Like, you get me, guys? Like, I know this is stuff only us wrestling fans will get, but at the same time, half the people are going to watch the movie are indeed wrestling fans, more specifically, fans of Paige who know this stuff, so, I mean, come on. Now, it isn't the biggest deal in the world. It didn't really hinder my enjoyment too much, the movie, but it was a big problem, at least for me. So, overall, would I recommend this movie to you guys if you are a fan of Paige and a fan of WWE? Fuck yes. This movie is amazing, and if you're a wrestling fan and a fan of Paige, you should definitely check it out. If you're not a fan of Paige or wrestling, I still say you can check it out because you can still get some good enjoyment out of this as a good old-fashioned, just feel-good story of someone becoming a wrestler. Overall, I'll give this movie a 9 out of 10, guys. So hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, flag, and links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. Oh, by the way, one other inaccuracy I noticed with this movie is that in the end credits, they play clips from the documentary that Paige had in her life, But at the end of it, they play the clip of when Paige won the Raw Women's won the Divas title, and her family are losing their minds. Like, yeah, Paige got over. But if you actually see the documentary, that footage was used when she won her first match at Florida Championship Wrestling in her debut. So, that's another inaccuracy I noticed. Anyway, see you guys next time.